Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to calculate electric field at any point due to some charge distribution by applying Gauss law. So in the previous video we have discussed about the Gauss law. What is Gauss law? Now Gauss law says that if you have any closed surface enclosing some amount of charge q, charge enclosed, and the flux through this closed surface is given as 1 by epsilon naught times the total charge which is enclosed within the surface. This was the statement of Gauss law. I've also proved the Gauss law, so you can check my video for how to prove the Gauss law. Now using this Gauss law, we will calculate electric field at any point due to some charge distribution. Let us assume a long straight wire such that the charge is distributed along its length. It's a long straight wire which is uniformly charged. Now since the charges are distributed along the length, we define the linear charge density lambda. Lambda is your linear charge density. Such type of distribution is called linear charge distribution. Now we need to calculate electric field at any point P which is at a distance r from this distribution using Gauss law. So the advantage of using Gauss law is that it helps to draw a Gaussian surface around any charge distribution, and in this case for the linear charge distribution the Gaussian surface will be a cylinder of any length L. So such type of surface which is drawn is called Gaussian surface. I repeat again, a Gaussian surface is a closed surface which is drawn around a charge distribution, and the shape of the Gaussian surface will depend on the type of distribution. So if the distribution is along the length, then the Gaussian surface will always be a cylinder of some radius and some length L. Now let's apply the Gauss law and calculate electric field at point P. So now this cylinder enclose, now this cylinder is a closed surface, so this will enclose some amount of charge within this. So let us calculate the charge enclosed. Charge enclosed within the cylinder. So let us assume by Q enclosed. The charge enclosed will be how much? It's the linear charge density lambda multiplied by the length of the cylinder. This will give you the charge which is enclosed within the cylinder. Okay, now let's apply the Gauss law. What is Gauss law? So from Gauss law we have, the flux through a closed surface is 1 by epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed, but what is phi of E is closed surface integral of E dot dA. This is the definition of a flux we have already discussed. So therefore the closed surface integral of E dot dA is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed. Okay. Now this integral represents that it is the integration which is done over a closed surface. Now this Gaussian surface is a closed surface. Now this closed integral can be opened up into the open integrals. That means any closed surface is bounded by the open surfaces, and this cylinder is bounded by three surfaces: the upper surface, the lower surface, and this curved surface. So let us assume the upper surface by A, lower surface by B, and this curved surface by C. So let us break this integral into open integral. This implies that, so for the upper surface A, we have integral over the upper surface A, E dot dA1 vector, plus for the lower surface we'll have integral for the lower surface B, E dot dA2 vector, plus the middle surface, that is a curved surface, integral over the closed curved surface C, E dot dA3 vector, and this is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times Q enclosed. dA1 vector, dA2 vector, and dA3 vector are the area vectors on these surfaces. So the area vector on the surface A is represented by dA1. For the surface B, we have area vector dA2, and let us take any area element on the curved surface, and the area vector on this curved surface is represented by dA3. Now let us assume that the wire is along the z-axis, just for the simplicity, right? Now due to this charge distribution, since the charge distribution is positive, so the electric field lines will come out from the surfaces like this. So the electric field lines will come out from this curved surface. So we can see every time the electric field lines will cross the curved surface, and therefore we will have flux through this closed curved surface. Now let us see this integral E dot dA1 vector. Now for the surface A, we can see the electric field lines and the area vector dA1 is perpendicular. So the angle between the electric field vector E and the area vector dA1 is perpendicular. So therefore this term goes to 0, as the dot product of two perpendicular vectors is 0. Similarly, for lower surface B, we have again the electric field E and area vector dA2 are perpendicular, so this term again goes to 0. And for the curved surface C, we can see for any area element on the curved surface, the electric field E and the area vector is parallel, so it will be a non-zero term, and therefore we will be only left with the term E dot dA3 is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times. What is charge enclosed? So the charge enclosed will be lambda into L. We have calculated. Let's put the value lambda into L. Now when you move on this curved surface, every time you are at constant distance from this wire to the curved surface. So the distance from the wire to the curved surface will always be a constant, and therefore the electric field will be a constant for the curved surface, and therefore this implies that. So let's open this dot product: magnitude of electric field, magnitude of dA3 cos 0 degree, because the angle between electric field and dA3 is 0. This is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times lambda into L. Okay. Since electric field is constant, so it comes out from the integral, and let's integrate the area vector dA3, cos 0 is 1, and this is 1 by epsilon naught times lambda into L. Okay. Now, when you integrate the area element on the curved surface, now this is your area element dA3, whose area vector is dA3 vector perpendicular to it. When you integrate this area element over the curved surface, you will get the total area of this curved surface, and the curved surface of the cylinder is given by, this implies that the curved surface of the cylinder is given as 2 pi r, height is the length, which is L, which is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times lambda into L. L and L get cancelled, so this implies that the magnitude of electric field is equals to lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught r. So we can see that electric field is inversely proportional to r. And if we draw a graph between electric field and r, it varies as like this. The electric field will not immediately falls to 0, but it will gradually decrease as 1 by r. Let us assume that along the r, the unit vector is denoted by r cap. So this is your r. So in the direction of r, we will have a unit vector r cap, which is towards right, and for the left direction we'll have minus r cap, just for the convention. And therefore, in vector form, electric field vector is given as lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught r into r cap. So this is your electric field due to the linear charge distribution at any point P from the wire. Thank you so much.